Hi, this is Rebecca at rebeccatrip.com. And today I'm talking about the third chapter in that amazing book, Outwitting the Devil by Napoleon Hill. It's called A Strange Interview with the Devil. This is where Napoleon starts actually having a conversation with what appears to be the devil. He doesn't know if it's an entity or if it's his imagination, but the dialogue is pretty interesting. He had just gone through the Great Depression. He lost everything. A 600-acre estate. His bank folded. He lost all of his money. He was destitute, basically, like so many others. It was a global depression. And he had just finished interviewing over 500 successful people who told him their secrets to success. And he had learned that there are certain principles that guide successful people that they live by. Well, when he was in this situation of, having lost everything, he actually went into a depression because he didn't know in his core if he was going to be able to reinvent himself. And he was also really questioning whether or not his teachings that he had come up with were practical or if they were just mere theories, because he realized now he was going to be tested. And that's what happens. We ultimately have to put our money where our mouth is and find out if what we think we believe is real or if we're just imagining it. And that's where he was at. He was being tested. So, as I said, he was a bit depressed about it. He went into his consciousness, and what he realized was that every person he had studied that was incredibly successful had something in common. They all had mastermind groups that they worked with. Now, a mastermind can be one other person or it can be many people, anything in between. But he realized he was a lone wolf. He didn't have a mastermind that he brainstormed with. So I think he started masterminding with his wife initially, and he really began to realize the power of the mastermind. That's why I belong to LifeWorks University. We mastermind with each other, and it is an amazing experience to be with like-minded people and share ideas. And with Zoom, you can do it with people all over the world. But the devil began to speak to him, and it was a pretty interesting conversation because this devil began to tell him that it basically controlled 98% of the population of the world through fear. People have fear, which makes it very easy to take over their minds and paralyze them or keep them from doing what their purpose or their mission is. Fear of poverty is number one. Number two is fear of death. And in between, you've got fear of criticism, fear of ill health, fear of loss of love, and fear of old age. Now, if you can overcome these fears and free yourself, you're not controlled by this negative energy anymore, which holds you back and keeps you from really living the life of your dreams. And the devil went on to explain that his opposition is the good, positive energy that we call God, usually. Of course, there are many names for God, but he called it God in the book. And that positive energy includes things like love, faith, hope, optimism. All of the positive emotions are part of what the devil is not. And when people really start to operate in the more positive emotions and learn how to control their thought and get rid of those negative fear-driven thoughts, then the devil has no control and things start to happen, just as Napoleon Hill had figured out when he was listening to his other self, which was giving him positive guidance. Things worked out. But when he let the fear come in and he was frightful and fearful because of having gone through the Great Depression, wondering if his teachings that he had come up with for people to achieve success were only theory or if they were practical, really doubting whether or not he could make it work for himself, he realized that would paralyze him. So Napoleon was very good at having these inner conversations with himself. Now, if you read this chapter, you will learn that People who can think for themselves cannot be controlled by this evil, negative energy that you just need to be constantly aware of. Once you understand that you can think for yourself, you don't have to worry about it anymore. And that's freedom.